Good afternoon. Today we're going to be in Isaiah 52 and 53, if you want to follow along. I do want to apologize for the video this morning that had no audio, little technical glitch. So apologize for that and for the delay. But thank you for the one person who did like that video, probably before you heard it because there was no audio. But appreciate that. We're going to be in Isaiah 52, 53, starting in verse 13 of Isaiah 52. This is the passage about the suffering Messiah. Obviously very fitting when we think about Good Friday and Easter. This passage does not specifically name Jesus as the Messiah, but it's obvious from the text that this is speaking of him. The prophecy is too exact to be a coincidence. It's a great encouragement to our faith knowing that this was written 700 years before the coming of the Messiah. So let's go ahead and read Isaiah chapter 52, beginning in verse 13. Behold, my servant shall act wisely. He shall be high and lifted up, and shall be exalted. As many were astonished at you, his appearance was so marred beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of the children of mankind. So shall he sprinkle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths because of him. For that which has not been told them they see, and that which they have not heard they understand. Who has believed what he has heard from us? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And as one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs, and carried our sorrows. Yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed. All we like sheep have turned away, every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shearer is silent, so he opened not his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And as for his generation, who considered that he was cut off out of the land of the living, stricken for the transgression of my people? And they made his grave with the wicked and with a rich man in his death, although he had done no violence, and there was no deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the will of the Lord to crush him. He has put him to grief when his soul makes an offering for guilt. He shall see his offspring, he shall prolong his days. The will of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Out of the anguish of his soul he shall see and be satisfied. By his knowing shall the righteous one, my servant, make many to be accounted righteous, and he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the many, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul to death, and he was numbered with the transgressors. Yet he bore the sin of many, and makes intercession for the transgressors. What an amazing passage that we're able to read and understand and accept that the gift that was given to us is nothing we can earn, that he bore our sin. He suffered for us. Peter quotes from this very chapter in 1 Peter chapter 2. I think it's just a great opportunity to sum up what our response should be. Because how do you come away from that? And there's no real instructions for us in that passage. It's just a description of the suffering Messiah. So what do we take from this? Peter says in verse 24 of 1 Peter chapter 2, that he himself bore our sins in his body on the tree, that we might die to sin and live to righteousness. By his wounds you have been healed. For you were straying like sheep, but have now returned to the shepherd and overseer of your souls. So a clear reference to Isaiah 53. And the middle of verse 24, he says the purpose of why he himself bore our sins in his body on the tree, that we might die to sin and live to righteousness. So let's go today. Let's die to sin and live to righteousness for Christ's sake, in praise and glory to him. Have a great night. Bye.